We are so excited to speak to you about creating comics with Webtoon and our many different career opportunities. Some of you may know our publishing platform, so you might recognize some of your favorite characters or stories during this presentation. But for those of you who don't know who we are Webtoon, a borderless digital storytelling community of diverse creators, worlds, and enthusiasts. We're the world's largest comics publisher. We're the world's #1 comics app. We're used in 9 languages in over 65 different countries. And we have the greatest stories across all genres, from action, comedy, drama, and horror, mystery, romance, sci-fi, fantasy, slice of life, historical, you name it, you can find it on Webtoon. Nearly any genre and story can find its home for our readers on our app. But our stories our readers cannot get enough of our most popular ongoing series. With over 72 million plus active users across the globe, we accumulate more than 11.5 billion monthly page views. And that means that some of our creators enjoy massive followings for their stories. That includes like True Beauty with 4.7 billion views. Lore Olympus and Unordinary have each accumulated over 1 billion views. Many creators who launch their stories with us can enjoy awesome careers based on their stories and their characters. Or you can find your career in publishing working with our diverse stories and storytellers. We also don't let our comics stop on the screen. We build worlds beyond comics with the biggest names in entertainment. Through Webtoon Studios, we license our webcomics as movies, TV series, and animated shows, and games. You all might recognize All of Us Are Dead, currently on Netflix. I binged this so hard the weekend it came out, y'all. I cried like 8 times. I cried on the webcomic too, but this was a crazy show. And it was awesome to see how Webtoon really does transcend industries and transform. We also create merchandising lines for our originals creators, so you can potentially see your characters on merchandise across the country. And through Webtoon Unscrolled, launching in fall 2022, our webcomics can become graphic novels, so you can have your favorite stories on your screen and also your shelf. Seeing how our stories kind of manifest, the many different opportunities through Webtoon, and the readers that you can reach with our platforms, you may be wondering how you can work with us. We have a lot of opportunities available. We have freelance opportunities for creatives, both with our creative team and our marketing team, but also with Webtoon Originals so that you can contribute to your favorite titles. We also have over 40 paid internships and many entry-level career opportunities, so you can start your publishing career with Webtoon and grow it with us. But probably the biggest draw of our platform is that anyone with a story to tell can reach readers through Webtoon. So joining me today is Elena Fawn. She's here to talk about Webtoon Canvas, launching your story, what kinds of stories people find on Webtoon Canvas, and how to get part of our creative community. Go ahead, Elena.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elena, and I'm the Creative Partnership Manager here at Webtoon. So talk a little bit more about Webtoon Canvas. Webtoon Canvas is our self-publishing platform where anyone is able to share their story and be a part of our community. So as mentioned earlier, you might be more familiar with our original stories, such as Lore Olympus, True Beauty, and Tower of God. These stories are licensed works, and the creators behind them are heavily assisted by one of our in-house editors who support their story, art, and deadlines. Series on Webtoon Canvas, on the other hand, are fully owned and controlled by the creator. So you can post what you want, when you want, as long as it follows our community guidelines. Anyone can publish their story on Webtoon Canvas, and many of our most popular original series actually originated from Canvas, such as Lore Olympus and Unordinary. And so, before we move on with the rest of this presentation, we want to do a quick activity to get you all more familiar with this type of series that are available on Canvas and to give you an opportunity to practice sharing your own story. We have a quick story building game for you all.
This is a really fun way to come up with ideas for our platform, right, Elena? Right, Tyler? Is really just kind of seeing what our readers are resonating with and coming up with your own ideas that can also touch millions of readers. So it's really fun to see how you approached it from more like a world building standpoint, Flora, with your group, and then to also see like Eve's maybe approach it differently, or I'm sorry, yes, Eve's approach it differently with more character driven storytelling. You can approach story ideation from any point that you feel most comfortable. It's not hard to start. And that's what we wanted to show you today, is that it can be really fun to ideate new ideas specifically for Webtoon readers. We have a very fun community reading.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And I was able to pop in some groups, and everyone was able to pop in and see what everyone had written. And so I'm also excited to go through all the tabs and see the kind of stories you all created. Thank you so much. Okay, and I think we can go back to the presentation now. Okay, so I think we're on the next slide.
You muted, Elena, so sorry.
No, hi. Okay, so why choose Canvas to be the place to share your story? So Canvas is a great place to publish your webcomic. Webtoon has the largest webcomic readership in the world, and putting your story on Canvas can help you to greatly increase the visibility of your series. We also make it easy to track metrics for your series, such as subscribers and monthly global readers. And as your series grows and you're hoping to take it even further, these metrics will play a huge part in pitching your series. Also, if you're interested in becoming an original, Canvas is one of the first places that our teams looked to greenlight new series. So what do we offer? We offer many ways to make money on Canvas, such as our ad revenue sharing program, creator rewards program, and Patreon integration. We also plan to implement a new tipping system in upcoming months to increase earning opportunities for creators. We also have a Creator 101 page that's dedicated to providing educational resources for creators. So if you need some help getting started with your comic or are looking for some advice before moving forward, we welcome you to take advantage of the videos and documents provided. So there are hundreds of thousands of creators on Canvas, and that community of artists is very active and strong. We actually have an official Canvas creator Discord server with over 3,000 creators. That's also a great resource for inspiration, advice, or just finding like-minded creators. We know that can be hard to get eyes on your series, and our Canvas team does their best to promote as many series, especially small ones, as possible. We have front page carousels such as hidden gems, staff picks, recommended, and more that your series might be able to be featured in. We also have a very active social platform that we utilize to support our series. For example, every so often, we celebrate stories that hit the 5K subscribers milestone with our Hidden Gems graduation. We also offer annual Canvas Creator Summits, which is a day-long conference where creators can sit in on professor-led workshops and get the chance to participate in portfolio reviews with the editors behind our top original series. More information on the summit will come as summer approaches. So getting started, sharing your story on Canvas is easy. Simply look at the top bar of the Webtoon page on your desktop and press on Publish. You'll be taken to this page below, and be sure to read our community guidelines and upload instructions before publishing. Next, go ahead and upload all information needed, like the series title and summary, just like y'all came up with in the activity earlier, and select Create Series. From then on, you'll be able to upload your episodes. We have tools that make publishing easier, such as a scheduler, where you can plan for when each of your episodes will be released, instead of having to constantly go into your creator dashboard to upload. So now that we've covered the basics of how to get started, here are some tips on how to capture readers on Canvas. So first of all, thumbnails are important. Some readers do judge a book by its cover, and that's what your thumbnail acts as. Show off your art style and avoid using text. Start off with 3 episodes. We found that if readers get through your first 3 episodes, they're most likely to follow your series. After 3 episodes, the platform will also show a pop-up for readers to subscribe to your series, just like the example to the side here. Also update as consistently as you can. It's important to be transparent with your readers about when you publish and to stick to that schedule when you can. It's how readers know when to come back. Of course, as we've stated earlier, you are in control of your own schedule and your own story, and so we urge you to always prioritize yourself and never take on more than you can chew. Finally, let people know where to find your series. The best advocate for your series on any self-publishing platform is always yourself. So some things you can do are make sure to link your series on Webtoon Canvas in your Instagram bio, Linktree, or any other platforms you use to direct readers to your series. Post about your Canvas series on social media. You are allowed to use our logo and particular assets for posts like that. And you can also add hashtag Webtoon Canvas to your posts so readers can know where to go for your series. And series that follow these tips are able to be very successful. We have series that, even though it's just Canvas, are able to make 10 million readers per month, which is insane. And many of our series are able to have incomes that are able to support them as throughout their daily life. And also we have a series on Webtoon Canvas that's going on to be a Netflix original. So all very exciting stuff.
Tyler, as an editor who sources content for Webtoon, we do source from Canvas primarily new titles. And I know that posting to Webtoon Canvas is unofficially pitching to Webtoon as well. Can you talk with our creators about some of the points that editors look for when sourcing new titles from Canvas?
Absolutely. So there's no set formula for anything we're looking for. We're always trying to learn from others what it is that we need to be seeing more of and creating. For that, we keep an eye on trends and who's maybe picked up on something that's new in storytelling or a combination we hadn't considered before. We're also going to be interested in a clear story concept. So someone who knows what they're doing can really have a clear, concise description. And that's part of the exercise we just did, creating your short paragraph summary or even a log line, a single line description. That is often a sign that you have a very strong idea of what your series is about and what it's doing. Now, that, of course, doesn't mean that you are able to condense everything that's good about your series into a paragraph or even a sentence, but that you are at least able to clearly convey a compelling aspect of your work. So that's a big part of it for us too. We also, I think, one of the real truths underlying all of this is that your passion and excitement and love for what you're doing will show through. So a good tip I have for storytelling in this is to maybe make a list at the start of your drafting, brainstorming, whatever process of things that you love in stories like this. In romance, we have lots of great tropes with the person trips and their crush catches them, or you'll have the horror story where you love to see someone get got. Like, that's part of the fun, is the death stuff. You might write out all the things you love and all the tropes that you want to engage in and all the new ideas that you hope to include and say, how do I make sure I get a little bit of something I love into every episode? And especially at the start, we like to make sure there's a lot to love in those first few episodes, because a lot of readers will start with your episode 1. And you want to pack in stuff into those first 1 or 3 episodes, not to make it overly packed and overly dense, but to communicate clearly, this is stuff I love, and there's going to be lots of it in it. That, I think, shows, because we find those things that you love and we love them too. And that is a very convincing argument for us to say, oh, I should invest in this story. And the last thing I'll say is, yes, you're supposed to be putting the stuff you love into the story, but find out what your readers love and keep track of that in comments. We talked a little bit about data and analytics, and that's very useful, but sometimes there's nothing better than going into those comments and reading what everyone is responding to, what they're saying, like, oh, I can't believe this, or I hate this character, or whatever. That can tell you a lot about in real time data about, oh, this is what people like, this is what they connect with, this is what I can improve on, or this is what I should return to more. I think a lot of Webtoon and Canvas creators in general will tell you that they learned in the process of creating their story what shape that story would take. So it ends up being a great learning lesson for you, a great opportunity to figure out more, but also a chance for maybe unprecedented level of feedback and responsiveness for you to be able to say, I know what my audience loves because they wrote it there, and I can use that to inspire future story arcs. You often can't change everything, usually can't change everything to match what readers like, but it can give you good positive reinforcement, if nothing else, on what's working. that's it for me. Happy to hang around and answer any more questions, but just a few things: follow your passions, and yeah, we look forward to seeing what you can create.
Thank you for those amazing words, Tyler. I loved what you shared. And you shared really key points too, really telling the story that you want to tell, right? Webtoon Originals is the home for that. Webtoon Canvas is where you may start your story and launch it, but we do have teams that read everything posted to Canvas, and we consider every title as a potential Webtoon original at Webtoon. So if you do want to work with us on your own story idea, know that this is a great solid place to start. It's your most direct way to get your story in front of our teams. We're going to be watching what you're doing, and so will our readers. You'll gain massive followings, potentially with our readerships, even for the comics that you have complete ownership of, and you'll get to tap into that opportunity to be signed with us officially. Thanks, Tyler and Elena. Take it back over.
So if we move on to the next slide, we'll just have a few resources for you all if you're interested in connecting with Webtoon Canvas or our team. So starting off, you'll be able to, I think, have this presentation shared with you after this is all ended, and you can visit our homepage, look at the sort of stories that are on Canvas, and also explore the stories that were in that activity that we just did as well. And if you have any Canvas related questions, you can also email canvas@webtoon.com. We have some creator resources that are available to you. So if you're interested in looking at our documents, our resources, learning about how to make money on our platform, and just overall how to grow your series, we have some links there for you as well. And also, if you're interested to see how we promote series and kind of activities that we do and everything that's coming up in the future, our social media is a great way to keep track of that. So feel free to also follow us on social media and see what Webtoon Campus is up to. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. Yes, if you want to connect to Webtoon as a whole as well, we share similar social media accounts, so follow for upcoming Webtoon news. But you can also apply to opportunities at careers@webtoon.com. I'm here to answer more questions, maybe about career opportunities we have, internships, freelance opportunities as well, so we can open up to any student questions now. Feel free to unmute yourself, but I will check the chat just to see if there's any questions in the chat. Not too many questions in the chat, so feel free to unmute yourself and ask freely.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can, Eves. Thank you.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I just wanted to ask more about the internships and what's available and when you guys are looking for them.
Yeah, so we have over 40 plus paid internships. These do span a really wide range. There are some that specifically might interest you as Art Center students, including we have storyboarding internships that design kind of the pacing of our Webtoon vertical scroll comics. So when you go to our app and read our comics, you'll notice there are certain pacings that emphasize action or romance or maybe horror. So you can go through that and kind of see what would a storyboard artist need to know about pacing for an internship. But we also have a lot of other creative internships as well. We have ones that support our marketing and creative team, our social media influencer interns. These guys also create social media content, so you get to play with our character assets and really get fun with designs and what you create. But then we also have editorial internships. These are people that work directly with our editorial teams. And our editors, like Tyler, who you heard from, work directly with storytellers at Webtoon. So if you are someone who likes to help someone else tell their stories as well as your own, or you like to amplify the voice of other creators, you might be really interested in editorial or production internships or opportunities with Webtoon. Let's see, what other internships? We also have graphic design, marketing, others that aren't as centralized to the entertainment or illustration focuses, but those are definitely available. And we do hire from any background for our opportunities. So you don't have to be in a specific major to apply. They do run on rotation. So when one closes, others will open. Then they're 3 months rotation. So they generally align with the seasons. I would just check back in spring to see what we have open for summer, if that's what you're interested in. Cool, thanks, Eves.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we also have a lot of freelance internships. I had not internships, sorry, freelance opportunities. Let me correct myself. I had a great conversation with one of the breakout rooms about our freelance opportunities. We do have 2 categories. There's some that support our creative and marketing teams, and this is generally what you think of with, content for promotion, for marketing. But then we also have more comics freelance. These folks work directly on Webtoon originals. And Webtoon originals is split into kind of two main teams for our content. We have the editors who work on the original series with the artists and creators that develop them. And then we have our producers that actually come up with story ideas in-house. Something like Windy Bird, which is an awesome retelling of Peter Pan. They built the teams of freelancers that created that comic and launched it, and they oversaw the entire production of it. So you can get a lot of freelance at Webtoon, whether you're working directly with an originals creator or you're working with our production teams on a brand new in-house title. These roles range from everything from storyboard and thumbnail artists to, again, kind of get that pacing, get that flow, the basic composition down, to, inking, which is just what it sounds like, finishing those inks, to colors, final renders, and lettering. So we do have a lot of different freelance opportunities, and sometimes our teams can exceed around 20 artists per title just to make that work equitable, achievable, to stay on schedule. We really do apply similar pipelines that you're used to in animation to comics at Webtoon. Any questions about our different roles, or maybe our different audiences that are present at Webtoon, how you can be working with us?
I did have a question relating to internships. If we had further questions, is there a person or a contact we can communicate with?
Absolutely. Let me get you all my LinkedIn. Feel free as Art Center students to connect with me directly on LinkedIn. As Webtoon's University Program Specialist, I'm really happy to help you navigate finding opportunities with us. So feel free to ask any questions you have. Just send me a message, and I usually respond either day of or next day. Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming. Are there any other questions for us? Oh, sorry, Eves, can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just one more. So what are you looking for when you're interviewing for internships and stuff? Any specific?
That's a really good question. We love people who are advocates for storytelling. So our applicants come from every kind of background. For instance, the head of production is from a film screenwriting background, but she's working in webcomics and super excelling with our episodic format. She's heading her department, for instance. But then we also have, people from writing backgrounds, from specifically comics backgrounds, illustration. So it can be different focuses can apply to different kinds of roles. And then let's see. We also look for people with an entrepreneurial spirit. That's something we value in all of our applicants, people that really know how to navigate, get creative with their work, feel inspired about working with our diverse storytellers, and care about amplifying the voice of our creators. Because that's what really Webtoon is all about, getting comics in front of readers. If you don't mind me nerding out for just like a hot second about my company. I joined this company partly because of the way it started. In the early 2000s, there was an economic crisis overseas. And yes, I will get you the link to careers. But the founder of the Naver Corporation founded Webtoon in order to connect those comics artists directly to readers during the economic crisis, to really save the industry during that time. And that's what Webtoon has maintained as a focus throughout the entire building process over here in the States, is really a focus on connecting creators directly to readers. So if you want things to mention in like your cover letter or to reference in your resume, any personal narratives where you have amplified your personal, community of creators, where you've celebrated storytelling, or where you've helped either yourself or others achieve storytelling as a goal, we would really appreciate hearing about that, Yves. Cool.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And let me get you the careers page as well for Webtoon. I'll drop that in. And Elena was right. You will be getting this presentation as a PDF and as a recording. So these links will be live. You can click around in the PDF, go to any of our resources, and I'll include a few extras just for Art Center students based on our conversation today.
Jamie, did you have a question?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was wondering, I had a question about the audience, actually. I was wondering, I know that romance is a really huge genre on Webtoon, and I was wondering if it would be possible to work on, or how possibly well genres would do outside of romance, if there's any leeway for that, I suppose.
They do really good. I'm going to let Tyler take this one.
Hey, so real short answer to that is we do have really wide range of genres and they find their audience. It's true that our biggest title is a romance, but our second biggest one, if I remember correctly, is an action series. And you can go down the line and look at our popular series and see that virtually everything that can be tried has found an audience or a way to work. I also think we're growing a lot and developing our audience too. So as time goes on, I think we'll only get better at presenting new types of stories or different types of stories and helping connect with an audience who loves that genre. Hope that helps. Hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, thank you.
Did you have any particular genres in mind, Jamie? Now I'm just curious.
Actually, it's kind of funny. When I got put into the breakout room for group 10, I saw heartwarming and supernatural, and I was thinking about a story from that I started a bit of a while ago that I wanted to redo, and it kind of fits those two genres. So I was wondering how well, or not how well, but like, you know, if the genre would be fitting with the audience of the platform.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was, I love that you pointed that out because that was one of the points of the exercise, is to just help you all explore what is resonating with Webtoon readers. What kind of genres are there? What kind of different mashups of genres can you make? And what different story ideas are really reaching readers? That was a really good question, Jamie. And thank you. I'm really excited for your heartwarming. Was the other one supernatural? I love this. So I look forward to that. We'll be in touch, Jamie. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll reach out to stay connected to your story as you develop it. But feel free to connect with me, any of you at Art Center, as you develop story ideas. If you want to get involved with potential freelance opportunities, look for us at future Art Center events. We will be there. We'll be watching for you. So please say hi.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry. My question is like, in terms of like creating story, if like maybe Tyler or you have like any tips on like how to like organize thoughts or like how to plan out arcs and like balance like A plots and B plots and stuff like that.
Oh man, that is a great question. I think one of the best piece of advice I've ever heard about writing of any kind is that every time you write something new, you are learning to write for the first time. Not in the learning your alphabet sense, but in the like, what's going to work for this story sense. So finding your right balance, I think in part is going to be a very practical question of, is every episode interesting, exciting, fun for you? So you might plot out and draw out your outline and say, here's what I plan to do in this episode and the next 10 episodes, and keep going through, and then start saying, you know, do I have something I love in each episode? Do I keep a good balance of these plot A, plot B, whatever you're going for, character arcs? And once you have this outline and once you can kind of give an assessment of the whole thing, you can say, is there anything in my story that isn't currently doing enough, pulling its weight, interesting enough to me? And you might say, if plot C, whatever it is, isn't very interesting to you, or it's too, comes up too rarely, that might be a sign to you to say, let's revisit, let's try and find a new way to do it, or remove it if it doesn't work. That's part of why I talked about earlier about making sure you put something you love in each episode, because that's really the only standard for where things should go is what works and what makes it enjoyable to read. So trust yourself as a reader to be able to assess what's interesting to you. And yeah, really just look at it and break down so that you know that you would enjoy it at least if you are going through this series. Does that help? Anything else?
Yeah, that's super helpful. I think like in terms of pacing, I know that like I guess like from a creator standpoint, like you would look at pacing like differently because you see the story in its entirety versus like a reader who is getting these like weekly like chunks of the story. So oftentimes like what I see when I'm reading or stories on Webtoon is like a lot of comments that feel pacing is like difficult or to get through like from a reader's perspective, but then like there's it's like a different experience like binging like 50 episodes versus like reading weekly. So I'm wondering like how do you balance the pacing and make sure like it works for both scenarios?
I mean, that's a great question, a great way to look at it, because it is an entirely different experience to binge versus to go week to week. Some guidelines we sometimes talk about or recommend is aiming for 2 to 3 scenes max in an episode. And that's for a more narrative driven episode that might have maybe minimum 40 panels. And that's still a loose guideline because it may, I mean, there's always going to be exceptions to every rule. So that's part of it. When you look into the by episode outline and breakdown, there's a lot of advice out there for script writing and when to start or end a scene. I think the still best guideline is going to be, is this scene still interesting? Is something interesting happening periodically? And that's just going to change by series, because sometimes the stakes of the story is someone said something rude, and that can be a huge plot point. And in another series, you know, a plot point has to be something big and explosive and action oriented, whatever. Just figuring out what is interesting to your story and trying to keep it interesting details spread out evenly through an episode is still probably the best advice I can give.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
That was awesome advice, Tyler. And thank you for asking that question too. We have a lot of educational resources through Webtoon. I'm going to drop one in the chat that might help you at least get started. This is how to create a compelling hook. For pacing, this is probably the main thing you want to think about for those first 3 episodes, the compelling hook that's going to get readers engaged. So I would recommend checking out that workshop. But Elena, do you want to give a shout out about the summer event as well?
Yeah, so for our summer summit, so as I mentioned earlier, we have an event in the summer where we have invites a lot of professors from different schools to come speak about certain topics. And actually what you're speaking to, we have a professor from USC that will be leading a presentation about plot development, talking about all the components that go into it and how it's not just one kind of straight linear path. It's the weaving of different components to create a story, and it's kind of all tied together by character arc. So it's an in-depth 1-hour presentation that, you know, if you are interested, that's something you can look forward to in the summer.
Yeah, so definitely look ahead towards Webtoon educational resources. We know that we're a newer, unique platform within entertainment, that our comics are episodic, that they are vertical scroll. So we are releasing and plan to release a ton of materials to help you get started and to also help you stay motivated on this comic as you embark on your journey with Webtoon. So we really are offering community support, educational support, whatever empowers you as creators to help you connect to readers. For self-inviting on your hike, I want to know where y'all are hiking to. But thank you. Any other questions today? I saw that Jill had unmuted as well.
Oh no, I'm okay.
Okay, great. Any other questions for us before we head out?
I had a quick, more generic or technical question. So, if we were to send a portfolio or sample pages, is there any like size or aspect ratio or dimension or anything that like would make it stick out better or make it more accessible to just view?
Absolutely. So when you're wanting to submit portfolios, would this be for your case for internships or for freelance opportunities, or would you want to pitch to us?
I think I'd want to pitch.
Okay, I definitely would encourage you to start on Canvas. There is, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I do have a way to stay connected to all college Canvas creators. We read these series, I send these to my teams regularly, and I'll stay in touch with you as you embark on that. But that really is our direct pipeline to get your content in front of our editors. And it's also better for you, right? You're not just submitting to like a pile that you're not sure if anyone will ever see. Like you can grow income from your comic, you can grow readerships for yourself as we're reviewing it and following your progress. So do know that is your direct pipeline. If you're interested in freelance, again, connect with me on LinkedIn. There aren't really any size or anything that you would need to necessarily know for that. We really just want to see your art. But if you can develop something in a vertical scroll format, even if it's just one scene, like 6 to 20 panels, right? Even if it's just storyboarded, that shows us how you're applying your technical skills to a Webtoon format. And that will help our producers that oversee our artist assistants at Webtoon understand how you'd work on a Webtoon original. So we do value those vertical scroll format options to see how you're working in our formats, but we will review any work and consider it for potential freelance opportunities. And if you're posting to Canvas, we will consider your comic as a potential Webtoon original.
Yeah, and to speak a little bit more to that, we actually have a group of interns called Canvas Squad interns, and what they do is they literally read every new Canvas series that comes onto our platform, and they create this deck that gets approved by kind of the upper management of the Canvas team. Then they can pitch that towards the originals team, and so it is we are very actively reading the content and seeing which series has potential. And also, like Kirsten said, that she does have like an Airtable and a list of all the series created by college students. And so that's also something that we look at very actively.
I saw potentially we might have a Canvas creator in the room. So Wing, are you a Canvas creator already?
I made some comic a while ago. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and give you a link before we head out today. And you can connect with me directly and let me know about your story that way. But feel free, please connect with me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. I'm very happy to connect over direct messages. I really love those.
Kristen, I think we have one more question from Jamie, and then maybe we'll close this session.
Okay. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hi, I was wondering, earlier in the presentation, it was mentioned that there was a Discord. Is it possible to get a link to that?
So for the Discord, it's actually available for Canvas creators. Once you first publish there's a lot of Discords for creators, but this one's especially run by us. And so we offer promotional opportunities within the Canvas Discord, and you can speak to me and other Canvas like Webtoon staff directly if you'd like, but that's for creators once they've uploaded at least 3 episodes. And it doesn't have to be full episodes. Like if you just create a prologue, a character chart, or whatever, like that counts. Like as long as you have 3 uploads, like we want to be able to give you the space to connect with others in the community for research to continue to grow your series. And that's what the Discord's for.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good.
I'm muted, sorry. I really recommend connecting to their Instagram or Twitter because the community just among Canvas is very active industry-wide. So pretty easy to get in touch with other creators or see what's going on Webtoon Canvas side. All right, thank you all so much. If there's no other questions, we will head out today, but feel free again to connect with me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. I'm happy to answer your messages there. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you all. Oh, Jacqueline, you had one more question.
Oh, sorry, because I came in later. I just really want to know, like, where can I get the recording of this, like, this meeting? Yeah.
Yeah, Jacqueline, we can actually send out a recording later today once we have it up on Zoom and we download it and we post it to Vimeo. We can send that out to all the participants today if you'd like to review some of the information. So yeah, that'll come through via email to you. So thank you, Kristen, Elena, and
Thank
Tyler for
you.
joining us today, taking us through a fun exercise and telling us all about Webtoons and the opportunities available. We really appreciate it. And again, we look forward to connecting with you on future events.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Watch for us at future Art Center events. We'll be there. Connect with me on social media. I will answer all your questions. All right, I'll see y'all later. Elena, Tyler, do you want to connect after the event just to quickly debrief with me? Sweet.